Go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson. I'm the host of this podcast that's mine. Going to be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Darkness from the
Friggin' what up? Welcome back to another ep of History is Dank. I'm your host, Strider Wilson. We got Aaron going beast mode on the sticks. Dude, what up, Aaron?
What up?
Dude, for those of you watching, we're in a new space. We are in a new space. It's a new era of podding at ATC, dude. Aaron's in a window, in a booth.
Encased in glass.
That's right. It's like you're in a terrarium, dude. Like a lizard, dude. You know, I want to put a very hot light on you.
Oh, believe me, it gets very warm in here.
Watch you stick your tongue out and dart a little bit. You know, just watch a freaking Komodo. Oh, beautiful dart. That's a beautiful dart. Dude, just Komodo dragon dart style in there.
I couldn't turn on the AC earlier because of the thing that was going on next door.
Oh, yeah.
And it got up to like 78 in here. I was like, holy smokes.
Oh, dude, that's insanity.
Yeah.
That's insanity. Dude, well, I'm freaking fired up, you know, being in here nice and cool, feeling good, feeling freaking stoked, dude. The weekend is here, dude. You know, I mean, this pod comes out on Tuesday, but right now we got weekend vibes coming to you on a Tuesday. So freaking buckle up for that, dude, because it's about to be you're about to get freaking amped, dude. If you're listening to this on your way to work, you're going to be too mellow, dude. You got to deliver a PowerPoint presentation, whatever, dude, you know? Honestly, you should start every PowerPoint presentation with, honestly, my interpretation of this pie chart that I built in Excel is whatever, you know? I don't know what that's going to forecast for you, dude. Here's a forecast, dude. Sunny and 75 at the lake. Let's cruise. And the reason I said lake is because our topic for today is the creation of Crater Lake. Dude, I was like, hey, let me look into some creation stories, origin stories, if you will, myths and legends, and then how those myths and legends sort of correlate to, you know, scientifically what went down. And so it's a little bit of what came first, the chicken or the egg, my dude. You know, so do these myths, and how much of these myths or legends are based in reality? You know, are these fun ways of dry ways of telling a story? An Excel spreadsheet, well, here's the numbers, and then, you know, next quarter and quarter 3 last year we did this much, and then in quarter 4, dude, guess what? I'm already asleep. Okay? Guess what? Did Terrence Malick direct this PowerPoint presentation? Is it called is it a thin red line that I'm looking at on this graph? Okay.
Snooze.
Big time snooze, dude. Is Jim Caviezel hosting this presentation, dude? Because guess what? I'm asleep. Unless it's Jim Caviezel's jawline that I'm looking at on the graph, then yeah, I'm awake. Handsome. Is it Jim Caviezel's hairline? Then yeah, I'm awake. Handsome. I'm obsessed with this guy. Legendary hairline and jawline. Legendarily awkward guy. Bad energy. There's a few friends that we've all got that are group hang friends. We've got our group hang friends. You know, cool. Not exactly going to dial this dude up for a one-on-one chill. You know, but when the group gets together, we play the scramble or whatever, or the boys are hitting the bar. Cool, dude. I'll hang out with Darren. Other than that, I'm not hanging out with Darren, dude. Honestly, took me about eight hangouts to realize his last name. You know, don't need to know. Don't even know where he's from. Just know he's boys with one of my other boys. So cool, you know. And if I'm buying a round and there's 8 bros out and I only got 7 shots, guess who's not getting one? Darren. Yeah, dude. So today we're gonna look at Crater Lake, dude. Honestly, if it's a lake trip and we're renting a cabin with the boys, Darren's getting the couch in the living room and going to sleep last. Sorry, Darren. Everyone else is gonna pair off into rooms, dude. Darren, you're sleeping in the kitchen, my dude, on the linoleum tile. Because this cabin, we got it for pretty cheap and it hasn't been updated. And there's probably asbestos right next to your dome. But honestly, it's okay. He's the type of dude, if we're going out to the strip club with the boys, and he's going to meet up, I'm going to withdraw some money for him to buy himself a cab home on me. Go ahead, bro. Oh, no, this isn't for you to give to Jaguar. That's our dancer, dude, or Dulce. No. Jaguar and Dulce are good. You just take this cash, get yourself a yellow cab home, dude. I don't care how long it takes to get an Uber. Later, dude. Good seeing you. So, in any case, we're talking myths and legends, dude. And we love stories, dude. Across every culture, there's differences, obviously. But everyone enjoys sitting around a story or a campfire and watching, whether it be a shaman or a priest or just a dude who's sick at telling fucking stories. Sometimes there will be musical accompaniment to it. You know, thousands of years ago, our ancestors were posting up in a cave, maybe even doing sick ass shadow puppets or something like that. We love stories. Now we got CGI. Now we got sick movies, dude. Not The Thin Red Line, but Saving Private Ryan. We have sick movies, okay? And they're important. They're important to our ancestors. They're important to us now. Okay, these accounts of mythological creatures and mysterious ancient places, historians, archaeologists, and scientists have been able to confirm the validity of some of these myths. Now, I'm not saying like, oh, you know, a cyclops is real, but maybe there was an ugly ass tall dude who was 6'8", who lost an eye, you know, because he got a little too close to a Komodo dragon or a saber-toothed tiger or something. There's some reality.
I actually saw a report that was done recently that said that the ancient Greeks thought cyclopses used to exist, but it turns out the skulls they had found and thought were cyclopses were baby elephants.
Wow. See?
Because they have a big hole right here where their trunk is.
Bro, I love that. Because it's a great example. It's a micro example of exactly what we're talking about today, with something that can be sort of confused or explained due to lack of, you know, the scientific technology that we have today. We can go back and look and try to understand the past, but we can understand our present even better. No one today is going to make the mistake of like calling a baby elephant skull a cyclops. Maybe some dude who doesn't have Wi-Fi. Maybe some dude named Darren who has an Android. He's the only guy in the text thread with an Android. Figure it out, Darren. Okay, you're making us all move over to WhatsApp. What is this, dude? What am I? Did I meet you on a study abroad and you're some German dude? And I'm gonna try to keep in contact with you and send each other Rammstein videos like I did with this dude Phil that I met on study abroad, and now we don't talk that much anymore? No, not gonna do that. Darren, get an iPhone. Just be like the rest of us and spread your butt for Apple, okay? Just let Apple put an entire, you know, one of those big ass, you know, whatever those biggest Honey Crisps are, right in your ass. Although I think it's a Macintosh is a type of Apple that they are actually. So let them put that Apple in your core. The story we're going to use as our example, and there are many examples across all 7 continents, actually probably 6. I don't think penguins have examples of this down in Antarctica, though maybe they do. They huddle up like absolute beasts. Love those guys having each other's backs, dude. Freaking emperor penguins, legit, dude. So the example we're going to use is the creation of Crater Lake. Fired me up because taking a lake trip with the boys, I mean, what's better than that? Doing a little shroomies out there, dude, just looking at someone on a wave runner, just being like, dude, that's so rad. Dude, being so stoked watching one of my boys rip it on a wave runner, so nice, dude. Be like, dude, you look glorious out there, dude. I know exactly why your wife Ashley loves you, dude. I know you're going to have a happy marriage, dude. Anytime you're in an argument, dude, you know, if I can give you any advice as a married man myself, you know, they say don't go to bed angry. And the other part of that is don't go to bed angry. Immediately get in your car, drive to the nearest lake, rent a jet ski, and watch each other rip it on that. And you're going to fall in love again. Core glistening in the sun. The spray of the water in your face, the sun beating down. It's a beautiful thing. It's how kids are made. And there ain't no myth or legend about that. So, talking about Crater Lake. For those listening abroad, this is up in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, southern Oregon, to be exact, above California. just north of California. And this is a tale of the Klamath. I'm probably saying that wrong. Klamath people. The Klamath tribe, the Native Americans, they wouldn't even gaze upon the lake, for to do so would invite death. Okay? The lake, they said, had been created in a great battle between Lao, who ruled the below world, and Skell, the chief of the above world. And during the battle, darkness covered the land. And Lao, standing on Mount Mazama, and Skell on Mount Shasta, which I've been there, threw rocks and flames. The fight ended when Mount Mazama collapsed and sent Lao back into the underworld. Rain filled the remaining depression, forming a lake in the mountain space, what we today call Crater Lake. So, just broadly and surface level right now, you can already hear the metaphor. These two gods throwing flame and rock. What does that make you think of? Makes you think of a volcano.
Yeah.
Lava.
I was going to say Dante's Peak, yeah.
Dante's Peak. What do you think's better, Dante's Peak or volcano? Go.
Dante's Peak.
I agree.
100%.
I agree. With the grandma walking across the acid lake. Also,
it's also scientifically accurate, apparently, according to my geology professors.
Aaron, also scientifically accurate at Crater Lake, because gases would emit every so often, and if you were standing too close to the shore, the offset of those gases would kill you and could kill you in your sleep. So people, the Klamath people, not understanding that volcanic activity, 7,000 years ago, scientists and archaeologists have discovered tools and everything in obsidian from about 7,700 years ago. That's how long this area has been inhabited. And that's how these myths develop, where this lake of death truly is a lake of death. They, of course, wrap this into their religion and their myth building. And just real quick, when I'm talking about myth and legend, just when I was doing my research, I was like, what is the difference between myth and legend? Let's just real quick get that. Let's fucking Webster's dictionary that right now, dude. So a myth, defined, a traditional or a legendary story, usually concerning some being or hero or event, with or without a determinable basis of fact or a natural explanation, especially one that is concerned with deities or demigods and explains some practice, rite, or phenomenon of nature. It's exactly what we're dealing with. A legend is my boy Jake, who has DUIs on all vehicles except a regular car. That's the Merriam-Webster definition of a legend. Dude's never pissed in a toilet ever. Only pees outside. And when he got his DUI, he refused to pee in a cup. He said, take me for the blood test. Yeah. Dude's always pissing outside or a consenting third party. No, an actual definition of a legend is a non-historical or unverifiable story handed down by tradition from earlier times and popularly accepted as historical. Okay? So slightly different. It doesn't have to really deal with gods or deities or describing nature. It's just a legend, dude. You know what I mean? Where, when I was growing up, where I used to have basketball practice at Dana Hills, there was a sick-ass staircase there, and we would say, oh, dude, did you hear about Crazy Cody? He's the first guy to ever 360 flip that. Crazy Cody existed. No one ever really saw it. Maybe he just ollied it. Maybe he just kick flipped it. Maybe he just did a 360 flip by that staircase. We don't know. Okay? It's like the game of telephone over generations. Crazy Cody was like a grade or two above my older brother. So I heard it from him and it's been passed down. And now I'm pretty sure the story there is that Crazy Cody had a threesome while doing a 360 flip over a 12 stair. Whoa. So these things get conflated.
You know what that isn't? That is not a snooze.
No. I would love Terrence Malick to direct that as a short film. Cut over to like a spider.
He'd find a way.
Making a web
he'd find
nearby.
a way to fuck it up.
He would. He'd go, well, actually, the real story here of Crazy Cody having a threesome, busting a 360 flip, is that when he did not bust at the end of it. And the real story is the fact that he didn't bust is that tradition dies with one generation, and the fact that he did not impregnate one of these women, which were women from abroad. One of them was a local woman and another was traveling abroad, German exchange student. Those two women coming together, they can't have a a child, but yet is living in the now, and that this generation is now ephemeral. And so the true story is the ephemeral nature of storytelling, and how the essence and thesis is only bastardized over time, and nothing can be, guess what? I'm asleep. Just show Crazy Cody with his shirt off, two ladies, grabbing onto his beard, trying all sorts of positions I never even heard of, You know when you show your wife a YouTube video, you're sitting in bed, hey, come here, babe, check out this video. She's like, okay, great. I'm going to strictly show my wife missionary porno now. Hey, check out this video. Check this. No, come here. No, you got to see it. No, you hear the sound's not working. No, come here, check it out. Boom. Nice missionary lovemaking. Reverse angle of the dude's butt. Why would you show me that? Terrence Malick said this is important. Terrence Malick. Who the hell's Terrence Malick? Is that schmoll you went on that boys trip with? No, that's Darren. So the science and tale that these explorers heard in like the 1800s comes from 7,700 years ago, and they were told this tale of the origin of Crater Lake from the Klamath tribespeople. And this oral tradition actually contained details about the explosion of the volcano there, Mount Mazama, and that they've done carbon dating and radioactive dating, and that's exactly when the volcano erupted. And it, of course, threw red hot fucking rocks and debris into the sky, and then they talked about this dark cloud. Well, guess what? That's a plume of ash and everything covering the lands, and then the lake being covered in gas. So these kind of things, and what's interesting is they're scientists. I don't know what type, like an archaeologist discovers bones and geologist does rocks. Forget what the type of scientist is. Probably dork would be the title, but who studies the history of story. And they say, the game of telephone, after like three people, statistically the story starts to get changed, or that's when it gets bastardized. After 600 years or 700 years, that's when story really starts to change. So Terrence Malick would be interested in that. So what I was trying to kind of talking about with Crazy Cody. So having a story in a story that survives 7,000 years, this exact origin story of Skell and Lau going at it, very rare. Also another reason why we chose this today. So these type of stories exist. So let's sort of unpack and get into a little bit more detail of the origin of Crater Lake. So the expanded story, if you will. So one day, great spirit beings pushed ice through a hole in the sky to build a great mountain. Okay? The Klamath called it Moyana, Mount Mazama, the volcano that I was talking about. Then the spirits climbed down the earth and created Klamath terrain by digging tunnel-like caverns beneath the earth and pushing up the Cascade Range. Hundreds of rivers and marshes and lakes emerged from the underground. Trees, meadows, plants sprang up everywhere. Often this is what happens after a volcanic eruption. Mount Shasta, you go there now, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, dank, but a lot of meth-looking dudes there. A lot of crazy Codys up there. Let's just say a lot of crazy Codys, doing a real illicit stuff in caves. Let's just say that. So their spirits return to what is called the Nolis Ganai, the afterworld, except the spirit chief Gmokamak. Okay, part of my pronunciations here. Gonna bastardize this, I apologize. I can barely read English. So then on Malaxi, that's Mount Shasta, Gokmak created human beings to live on the lake shores around him. The Klamath Lake people, the Modoc Lake people, a nearby tribe. And there's also a Modoc Lake now called Tule Lake, Tule, not Tule Lake, where Darren would probably go. So the chief of the below world, this guy named, and granted the names have changed and the gods over generations, but so you still have this chief of the underworld Mondakni, and he envied Gmokmak's beautiful domain, this beautiful world, lush terrain, fucking sick-ass lakes. This is like a dude who's looking at your boys trip you've just posted on Instagram or whatever, or maybe you even made a YouTube video of you guys wakeboarding, getting outside the wake, you know, busting some moves, changing your hands on the rope, looking pretty sick. Maybe one dude's barefooting it. So that's like the dude of the underworld being jealous of that, being like, dude, I wish I was invited to that, right? So he's jealous, dude. So and going forward, I'll refrain from using the gods' names because I'm absolutely butchering. I'm going to say God of the underworld and God of the above world, right? So the God of the below world is jealous of the God of the above world. It's classic. This is classic. So, but what he's most jealous about is he wants to swoop. He wants to swoop on an extraordinary maiden. Okay, he spies an extraordinary maiden surrounded by brave warriors, and he wants to marry her. Loa was the daughter of the Klamath chief, and she refuses to marry anyone. Look, dude, she knows she's valuable. She's surrounded by these warriors. Like, she's not just going to give it up, dude, okay? She's a lady. She's a princess, okay? But this god of the underworld is like, nah, dude. So he dispatched Skooks, which, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of dudes named Skooks doing meth up in the Shasta region today. Okay? Guy that looks like he just stepped out of, you know, one of those animatronic looking dudes who just stepped out of the frickin' Thunder Mountain Railroad ride at Disneyland. A lot of dudes that looked exactly like that, dude. Okay?
Skooks.
Where the dude might have...
It sounds like a bird call.
Yeah. Skooks. 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 When do people get into bird watching, dude?
It's coming for us all, I think.
I think it is too. Honestly, when lateral movement goes down, if I was going to build a graph, lateral movement ability goes down, bird watching ability or interest goes up. That's definitely a corresponding graph. So Skooks is up there, and he chooses a real cool disguise. Hooded, dark wolf skin. Dude, I mean, why not come in like a sick-ass peacock-looking outfit? Why not come in a dope-ass looking eagle wings? Way more inviting. No one's going to invite a dude wearing a wolf skin in for dinner. Hey, dude, I've got some extra fish I just caught in the lake. You want to cruise in your weird-ass looking wolf skin? No, dude, get out. Okay? But he did bring lavish gifts, so that was smart. Beaver pelts, valuable feathers of redwood woodpecker, horses, and white deerskins. So he says to the chief of the Klamath people, my chief, God of the underworld, sends these offerings for you, for your hand in everlasting marriage. Okay? So he's speaking to the father here, you know, saying this to the wife. Eternal life will be yours as you become one and live in a big mountain abode forever. Sounds pretty sick. Good ass real estate, cruise in, but she's like, dude, I'm not gonna be with any of my friends. Then Skook's hideous crimson red eyes gaped at the maiden. Okay, and the Malklaks of the village, which I think are the are like the shamans, they watch and the other suitors disappear in a flash of orange light. Loa raced to her father's Tuo lodge, crying out, no, I don't want to live in a mountain. And the Klamath chief quickly called the elders and the medicine men to the council in his lodge, and they decided that Loa must be whisked away to their Modoc brothers to the south. So, gonna go down to Lake Tuo. So they're like, dude, get away, because pretty much Skooks is too horny, dude. Okay, he's too horny on behalf of the god of the underworld. So he returns the next night demanding Loa's whereabouts. Where is she? Never a good look when you come in. Where'd she go? You know what I mean? And, you know, he learns of the maiden's disappearance, and he shook with violent anger and threatened fiery vengeance on Loa's people. That's the chief of the Klamath tribe. He begins running back and forth in passageways beneath the mountain, throwing lightning bolts and causing the mountain to explode with such force that molten lava rained like hot pitch I don't know what that means, but just fucking hot ass lava down upon the people of the lakes. Giant fireballs shoot out from the mountain as it erupts in deafening booms 5 times in succession. Boom, boom. Women and children take refuge in the Klamath Lake, crying out, calling out for the Great Spirit to save them. Some of the warriors run up to the top of the mountain. They fought and engaged and silhouetted against the red glow illuminating the rumbling cascades. The good chief finally forced the chief of the below world. So this is when Skell cruises down. Only a dude named Skell can, just do away with Skooks and fight Lao, the actual god of the underworld. And not to be confused with Lo, the daughter that he wants to take to his mountain abode and get weird with. So yeah, good call not to send your daughter to the mountain house, dude. Nothing ever good happened in a mountain house, dude. You try to rent a cabin with your boys, there's always a Darren there. So this fight's going on, and the medicine men sing their sacred songs for rain to put the fires out. The rains come, filling the crater with water in this lake called Jiwa, cradled in the bosom of the big mountain, and it became a holy place. Okay? And this lake Jiwas, Gii-WAS, is what we now call Crater Lake. So that's the extended legend, dude. It's about a horny dude. Horniness, I've said it and I'll say it again. Horniness drives evolution, drives nature, pushes things forward, and horniness unutilized is the demise. That's what Terrence Malick would say in his Crazy Cody rendition, short film. So what's interesting is you have this very special story here that, one, it lasted not 600 years to 700, which is on average about the max that you get one of these oral traditions lasting before a good amount of change to it. We even saw in this, reading here, changes of names, but the fact that this lasted 7,000 years, has been carbon dated, this story of the creation of this lake, it's tangible, it's right there, we can see it. It's not like a mythical object that hasn't been found or something. It's like literally a giant lake we can look at, and it came from a volcano erupting, and the Klamath people have this mythical legend describing it, which is fucking sick, dude. So it's sort of a Goldilocks scenario of storytelling here. It's awesome. And it led me to believe, before we bone out, to keep this up high and tight, is what about the Klamath people today? So in 1873, of course, to understand the present, we always have to go to the past. Tribal members were selling lumber to Fort Klamath and many other private parties. By 1896, the sale to parties outside of their reservation was estimated at 250,000 board feet. It's a great unit of measurement, board feet. Love that. I love a new unit of measurement. I get fired up on that, dude. And then with the arrival of the railroad in 1911, the reservation timber became extremely valuable. The economy of the Klamath County was sustained by it for decades. And then by the 1950s, the Klamath tribes were one of the wealthiest tribes in the United States. They owned and judiciously managed long-term yield, with the largest remaining stand in the ponderosa pine in the west. They were entirely self-sufficient, one of the only tribes that was in the United States, and that paid for all the federal land, state and private services used by its members. And in 1954, the Klamath tribes were terminated from federal recognition by an act of Congress. So they got fucked. This is some sort of Killers of the Flowers Moon type stuff here. You have oil going on in that story. Here you have timber, and you have the federal government once again fucking over the native people here by just saying, no, we're not going to give you federal recognition anymore. Things have sort of changed. It's a new act of Congress. Even though they were making money, but it was just the United States was like, oh yeah, we'll make the money doing that. So they get screwed. And then there's the Bureau of the BIA, it's called the Bureau of Indian Affairs, concluded that the Klamath tribe were not ready for termination and recommended against it. Despite this consistent official opposition from the tribes and the BIA, Congress adopted to terminate. And this end of federal recognition and supplemental human services, it basically screws over the people. Approximately 1.8 million acres was taken, considered condemned lands, and terminated as a tribe. Just this single act of Congress, boom, done. So then the tribe has to fight and fight and fight and get its way back. In 1974, the federal court ruled that they had retained treaty rights to hunt, fish, and gather. They're like, okay, you can still hunt, fish, and gather. That's fine. But don't dare try doing something capitalistic, which is what we preach over here in the United States. Don't dare try using the lands that you've had for 7,000 years. Don't dare try using that to make money in today's economy. No. So it's just whack, very brutal. Then the Klamath people have to develop what's called an ESSP, Economic Self-Sufficiency Plan. And this has to get approved by Congress to get federal recognition. And they have a few different, and then there's internal, goings-ons of tribes members and being like, hey, what's the best way that we can make money and help our people and be sufficient. And what it comes down to is you got to build a casino. So that's what they operate there now. And they do make money doing that, but it's just another one of those tragic stories, dude, where the rug gets pulled out from under. So very gnarly. And then, so it's a bummer. You don't want to end the pod on a bummer note. But that's just the truth of the matter. Also, maybe a reason why people have mythical legends, dude. Maybe it's fucking more sick to tell a story about gods cruising on volcanoes rather than being like, oh yeah, that one day that mountain erupted, end of story. That's how the lake got here. We'd be like, oh, one day there was great bearded dudes who came and they had a great council of the East and they decided to bone us. You know what I mean? They were super horny for gold. They were super horny and they loved shiny things. You could just see that. It's just definitely more interesting. Dudes named Monroe and Smith and Williams came. They were obsessed with coming, and so they came, and then they took a bunch of skooks. Dude. Skooks. Just some facts on the lake. First dude to cruise out there was in 1886. This guy, Clarence Dutton, surveyed and mapped the lake. He used a pipe piano wire to record the maximum depth of 608 meters or 1,996 feet. So it's deep, dude. And then we did this with sonar in the 1950s, and there was only a 64-foot difference. So pretty accurate.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a national park. Theodore Roosevelt signed it in a bill on May 22nd, 1902. Crater Lakes is the nation's 6th national park. So it's protected lands now, which is nice. So there is no more timber or any economic activity going on there. So before we bone out, we got a queue. We got a question today, which is nice. This is email here. It goes, sup, Fert here. Like yourself, I have a passion. Fert sounds like a dude who could definitely live up in the Shasta region, just making his own moonshine up there, dude. Mountain man style, dude. Fert is definitely a name of one of the characters on the Thunder Mountain Railroad ride at Disneyland, if any of those characters would have backstory. Anyway, love that handle, dude. Like yourself, I have a passion for history, specifically WW Deuce. My question is, what are your top 3 favorite WW Deuce movies? I know it's a tough queue, so don't worry about ranking. You can just rattle some off if that's easier. Some of my faves are Fury, Greyhound, SPR, Anthropoid. Peace and love, Fert. Love that, dude. Peace and love, Fert. Gotta say, I haven't seen SPR. What is that?
Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, okay, for sure. Anthropoid. I don't know that one.
I think Cillian Murphy's in it.
I'll have to watch. It's like another one I have to see is Stalingrad. I haven't seen that. Stalingrad 1993. That's one I've been meaning to watch.
Yeah, I think Anthropoid is like produced by Christopher Nolan, but not directed.
Okay. I mean, Dunkirk. I like Dunkirk. Sort of like Once Upon a Time. I like watching it on second watches more than my first watch, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love it. Greyhound was pretty sick about the Atlantic crossing with my boy T. Hanks. I do think that they made the Germans a little too cartoonish. Like when they come in on the comms, they're like, "Oh, we are going to sink your U-boats." Oh, they like banged them up. I mean, my number one is Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah,
has to be. I don't know if it's cheating to say Band of Brothers. It's a mini series, so I will not include that. But it needs an honorable mention. But for me, it probably goes. Saving Private Ryan is my number one. My number two...
Inglourious Bastards.
Inglourious is pretty great.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, dude. Probably that is number two. You're right. Good call. In its historical whimsy. Mm-hmm. But it's just so good. And then after that... Maybe... Dude, Patton's incredible.
Yeah.
It's more of a story of the man, and it's maybe too old. I think there's maybe better sequences in like, it depends what theater you want to do. Like you want to do like, if it's ground war, I'm going Saving Private Ryan. If it's like aerial combat, maybe Memphis Belle. Pretty good story. I would want to say Red Tails, but the movie's so bad. But the Tuskegee Airmen's a great story, but it's just not a good movie. Submarine stuff, Das Boot, legit. It's probably the creme de la creme of submarine movies too. U-571 just has so many repetitive beats. And I enjoy my boy McConaughey in there, but it's just repetitive beats. But still pretty sick. And then, you know, definitely not The Thin Red Line.
Nope.
Definitely not that. Sorry, dude. Gotta tell you.
Hacksaw Ridge is
pretty gnarly. Yeah, dude, with Gibson. Yeah. So violent.
Yeah.
Fury, also insanely violent.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Could have been better. Bleak. Just bleak. You know? The final days of the war. Do you know what was good?
But that's Pearl Harbor.
Tor's amazing. A Bridge Too Far, amazing.
Schindler's List, we haven't mentioned.
Yeah. More of like Holocaust story than World War II, but
really the war
is
so much.
A very powerful film.
Yeah.
What's the one that I'm missing? A Bridge Too Far is the one in the Japanese prison camp? Or is that the one of Normandy?
I don't know.
No. A Bridge Over the River Kwai.
Yeah.
That's the one of the Japanese prison camp.
Yeah.
Good story, just kind of about the psycho commanders.
What's the Steve McQueen movie?
Oh yeah, dude. The Great Escape.
Great Escape, yeah.
Great Escape's pretty good. Also, there's another one where they get like, who's the Action Bronson? Some other guys. It's like 12 dudes, and they go in there to like pull a secret mission.
Dirty Dozen. Yeah.
So that's a great one. So basically a ton of honorable mentions, but for me, I think it's more modern. Saving Private Ryan's number one, Inglourious Bastards, and then after that, Patton's pretty great because you do get tank battles, and you get like a scope of the war too, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, and there's also another one like T-34, which is like this Russian-produced one, I think, that's actually really good. It's about like the tank. It's these guys who heist a tank and then leave. There's also another prison escape one with Ed Harris and Colin Farrell, where they cross like the Eurasian steppe and like trek their way back to freedom.
Yeah, it's like The Way Back.
The Way Back.
It's not that, but it's something like that.
Yeah, it's like a survival
Ben
one.
Affleck basketball, but
also a pretty sick movie.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Heart's War, I think, is one.
Oh, Heart's War is basically a retelling of like. Heart's War is great. It's a like a retelling of the kind of like The Great Escape.
Yeah.
Heart's War is good. Heart's War is a really nice one, actually. I like that. Could have been produced better. Sometimes the little production value is not as good.
Oh, I just had one. I lost it.
There's probably one that we're missing that we're going to be like, damn. Oh, bro. Enemy at the Gates.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. That might be my number 3. That's over Patton. There's a great sex scene in that too.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going Enemy at the Gates, number 3. Private Ryan, Inglorious, Enemy at the Gates. Boom. That's the pod. Fired up. We're in the new space, dude. New app coming in hot next week as well. Stay freaking stoked, dude. Send in some more cues. See, I love this fodder. Fired up, dude. Fired up on myths and legends, dude. Be a legend, bro. Harness your inner legend throughout the week. Do something crazy Cody would. Actually don't, because that involves meth and you know, and going nuts on buses and public transit. So be a beast. Be good. Freaking lit.